All right, welcome back to Sunday Best. We are on KTN Home and BTV, and it's really nice to have you on a Sunday morning like this. Indeed, it is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. My name is Anthony Ndiema, speaking to Pastor Bernardo Rui Wairura, and also with Christian Marcel, right? Parcel. Christian Parcel, she speaks very nice Francais, yeah, and she's here with us. We are engaging about godly relationships. How do I get to know that this is the right person? When I'm in a dating relationship, before even getting to marriage, what am I supposed to do? What are the do's? What are the don'ts? How far do I get in that? So it's good to have you, Karibu Sana. And Pastor Bernardo, talking about accountability, it is very, very,
very important.
Very important, yes, in a dating relationship. How do you become accountable, especially to family? Because they need to know that something is happening. Yeah. For example, for you, did you tell your parents that there's a guy you have seen and you're in a relationship?
First of all, he was my spiritual father, I can say, because he was the one who preached me the gospel.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, so
that's different.
He was coming home just like as a spiritual father. No, someone who was coaching me, helping me, the word of God.
Right.
So they used to see him with me
many times
at home, yes. So finally, we also went to school to get to campus together. Together. So
wow.
I think that's
how did you connect?
Did we connect? It's just we were classmates. We were just we were in the campus doing our first degree together.
Okay.
So finally,
you kept seeing each other.
We kept saying we have some subjects we have to do together. We have to do together, like mathematics, biology. There are some subjects we had together. Yes. Yeah. So I used to talk to him about my issues, family issues.
And so you kept hearing the issues and thinking, I like this one.
So finally, I don't know, but one day he told me, you need God.
Where?
You need God. I said, God, for what? For what?
Yeah.
I'm already Christian.
Yes.
Why do you want me to become again now, born again? Why?
Yes.
Why? He said, no, you need God. According to whatever I heard from you, I think that you need a spiritual work.
Yes.
I said, okay, fine. If it is that, I will I will make my mind and follow you.
Wow.
But I was always looking behind. Would I go? Would I? Because, you know, me, I was in the words. And I have already tested the words.
Yes.
So there was something taking me back. Don't go, don't go, don't go. Those people, they are not the right people. They are not the right people. So one day, he just brought me a card, invitation card, and said, today, I'm inviting you in church.
Wow.
And I said, okay. I said, okay, I will prepare myself.
Yeah.
And I went. It was the day of my salvation.
Wow.
So when we started, when I started with God, I could not even imagine that one day he will be my
husband.
My husband.
What did he like about you? You liked the legs. What does he say he liked about you?
Him, I think I know that he loved the way I cooked. Yes, I like
that
cooking.
was one of the things.
Yes, other thing. And also, he always telling me, you have a nice smile.
Yeah.
So you have a nice smile, and I always admire that.
Wow.
So after that, my husband is not open. He's not the one can show you his feelings. And so this one, I learned it very early.
Okay.
very early with him. Wow. So for me, I don't even ask him, do you love me? But if someone loves you, you can know. You can know it through his act, isn't it?
He doesn't need to keep telling
no,
you.
not keep
tell
telling
the ladies.
me.
Tell the ladies.
No. It doesn't need. You will know if the person loves you. You will know through the action of the. Yeah. So for me,
you didn't care
I
if
know
he
that
keeps
he's a
telling you.
quiet guy. He doesn't talk too much.
You understood.
And I really understood very early. I made my mind for that. So I have.
That's very interesting. Yeah, some people don't have to tell you every day. She has confirmed it. And it's just their personality.
Yes, she's a personality.
But the action is there. Men power. All right, thank you for sharing that. So, Pastor Bernard, there are many do's and don'ts.
Yes.
Some are written, some are not written.
Exactly.
Some are implied, some are not. So just mention, and you can also add to that. Just mention some things that are critical in a godly relationship.
Yeah, I think the first thing that is very important is for you to set boundaries in your mind.
All right.
Because if you have to be prepared. You don't prepare to conquer temptation after the temptation has arrived. you prepare before, just like you don't buy an ambulance after the leg is broken. you have to buy it before. So you have to set boundaries both in your mind, and after setting them in your mind, you have to sit down and agree on how to move forward. Number two, you have to avoid idleness. Because I think sometimes because of idleness, we just, it's okay to meet and get to know each other and get to understand, but avoid being idle. Avoid a situation where you have to try to look for something to do together. You know, you've met, you are here together, but there's no agenda, there is nothing. So you'll end up looking for the wrong things because you're not occupied. Of course, the long-old need for not being in private places, especially for long, when it is only the two of you. There's chemistry here. There is an attraction between these two people.
It's happening,
And so if you spend so much time together in restricted places where there's nobody else, or you do not expect somebody else would come at any time, then that becomes very dangerous. And that includes what you had mentioned, like spending a night, a sleepover at your fiance's place.
Right.
Because I think we have enough temptations in the world to add more temptations to the bucket. So I really don't want to set myself up for failure. And I would like to say that it is possible for you to go through courtship and be pure and not engage in sexual immorality. And what I always tell young people is that if Christ could not have been able to keep you from having sex with me before you married me, even after marrying me, then he can't stop you from having sex with anybody out there.
Wow.
And therefore, sex before marriage breeds mistrust in marriage.
Wow.
That if you are born again, and I was born again, and we slept together before our wedding day, there are times when emotions are not as high in your marriage. There are times when things are thick. And the only reason why I'll trust my wife is because I know she is born again. And the only reason why she'll trust me is because she knows I am born again. And therefore, if that Christ could not prevent you from having sex with me before you married me, then he can't prevent you from having sex with anybody else after marriage. And therefore, you find that it breeds mistrust out there. And therefore, it is very, very important for us to ensure that anything that can lead us to that place is kept off. So avoid being secluded. Meet in public places. If you have to meet in a place where it's not public, it's okay to have, because you have close friends. You have friends you can visit with. You can visit your fiance's place with, and you can go with them. So don't set yourself up for failure.
Right.
Yes.
Some of those things look very old school. And you know, the young generation thinks, what's wrong with you? I mean, how does someone get to 27 a virgin without having, you know, it's not possible. Is it possible?
It is possible.
Tell us about that.
From my own experience, I cannot say that I was not meeting my husband. I was meeting my husband. We were having something romantic time, not to sleep or do those bad things.
Yeah.
In fact, going out even with your fiancé, talking, having fun, going to eat. Those are already things you can have together. It's not because God said, you know, what me I learned with God, whatever Job said, whatever I'm fearing is what finally welcome me. Yes, it come to my life. So for me, with my own experience, I think that as a fiancé, as partners,
yes,
you're supposed to be together to know each other. Right. You know, in the marriage, most of the time we face some storms. Huh?
That's true.
And what keeps us is the time you spent together in the past. It is a time you spent together because both of you go back to where you came from, where you were, what you were doing together, all the I don't know, the conflicts. Yes, you put together. You see the vision you had that time. So when that storm comes, those are the things that will help you to come out. Most of the couples, what I notice, those most of the time who break are those who don't have
the foundation.
The foundation.
Weak.
The foundation. And me, from my opinion, I will tell our elders today, do not also put too much pressure on our young generation, because they need also to grow. You know, the good things is when the person himself passed through the experience of life. This is the very, very right, the good things we need in life. Because through your own experience, you learn a lot. And you know how also to deal with others, how to coach, how to even mentor others. I don't say that the mentor, we don't need the mentor. We need mentors. As well. It's very important. But we do not also put too much pressure on our young people. Because finally what happened? Finally they become hypocrites. Me, I saw many cases like that. They don't say what they are doing when they are together. They are not opened. And finally, what you don't want is finally what occurs.
That's true.
That's true.
So you're saying trust is very key. And this is for the parents. You have to build a trust with your child.
Yes.
To a level where they can tell you, there's this young man I've seen, I really like him. What do you think? Can I bring him home? You know, because if there is no trust, then they will just do their things on the roadside.
They hide just there, and finally, the bad things.
Will get to happen. Pastor Bernard, you've mentioned very critical things. You've talked about accountability. You've talked about those things that look like the old adage, you know? But the same way, the word of God never changes.
It doesn't.
It is the same yesterday, today, and even forevermore. So those principles work.
They do work. They do work. They do work. And what was sin is sin and will remain sin. And we must categorically say that sex before marriage is sin. One of the questions that I always ask young people is how far can you go before you know that you have gone to the edge of the cliff? How do you know that you've come to the edge? The way you know how you've come to the edge is by falling. So you can't stretch things. You can't push things to see how far you can go. Because one of the lies that the enemy has peddled out, and so many young people are doing it, and they actually call it making out. They call it making out. That they say we can kiss, you can touch whatever you were not given when you were created, and the other person was given. You can have fun, and they say we are not having intercourse. So these look
That's
fine.
good enough.
we can do it in courtship, but I want to say it's wrong, and it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous because most of the people who fall into sexual sin did not intend to get into sexual sin. Yeah. They only started. They wanted to see how far they can go, and before they knew, they had already fallen down the cliff. Yeah. So avoid those things. Avoid out of place jokes. You know, there are jokes you make. They are funny. It's okay to joke. It's okay to have fun, but there are some that out of praise. Yeah. Avoid sexually explicit discussions very early in the relationship. If you're 1 week, I always use a triangle to say to look at the time. You're here, and this is time. Right. So you are getting closer and closer. You may find initially when you started dating, you would greet each other keeping social distance. Yes. But that distance continue
narrowing.
Even in terms of discussions, it follows that same model.
Pattern,
that by the time you're getting married again, you are not far from each other. That you go to honeymoon and go to trouble each other. You've already got to that place where you can discuss intimate matters.
Yes.
But if you discuss intimate matters, if 2 years before your wedding, you're discussing your sexual life and such, you'll fall into sin. Wow. But if you're 1 week, 2 weeks, and that is why even when I'm doing premarital counseling, intimacy and sexual issues, I address them within the last 2 weeks before the wedding day. Yes, I don't start telling you matter sex 1 year before your wedding, and I start getting your mind to this place where you now start fantasizing, and because you will fall into sin. So you must be very careful what discussions you have, at what level, and is it an appropriate time for you to have such discussions.
Wow.
So very, very important.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a very good alignment.
Yeah. I think you've mentioned how far is too far. Let me just hear from a lady's perspective. How far is far? How far can you go to know that this is too far? As a lady.
Well, for me, I think that 7, do not allow your partner to touch you. That's there to avoid every disaster. It's a disaster, yes. Because finally, when it happens, we are just there say, I don't know. Yeah. I didn't know that was. I didn't know.
And when you're talking about touching, I mean, of course, there are levels.
There are levels.
If he holds your hand,
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when you say touching, you mean
you start touching your partner every day.
Yeah. So you mean
I would say let what is covered remain covered. Let your heart not go to anything that is covered. I think that's a good start.
That's a good start.
Whatever is covered,
but let it remain covered.
Yes, don't take your heart to that which is covered.
How do you? And I'm sure a young person is asking, how possible is that? How possible is that?
I think that
you can share your experience.
With our own strength, we cannot do it.
Right.
Sincerely, with our own strength, we cannot, because we remain flesh and blood. So the only thing can help you in that moment is just commit yourself to God and pray. You must be a prayerful woman or prayerful man.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you cannot make it.
Right. Christian, you say,
yes,
by your own might, it becomes very hard. You need someone else to help you.
Yes, you need someone to help you.
And I'd agree with her that it's not possible, because even salvation now, we don't keep it by our own. But there must be a resolve. You know, Daniel 1:8 says, and Daniel resolved in his heart. So as a young person, you must make a resolve.
Right.
That I want to go through this journey, and I want to go through it victoriously. And still born again and honoring Christ.
Right.
Yes.
So once you make that resolve, then God is able to come and enable you by His grace. Because the Bible says that the grace of God has been revealed to all men. It teaches us to say no. So it is grace that teaches you. Then number 2, it enables you, because it helps you lead self-controlled lives. Right. So grace teaches you how to, and it also enables you how to. So you have to rely on God. But there must be that resolve within my heart that I want to do this. The other thing that is very, very important is that you both must agree. And that is why I always tell young people, you can only quote someone with whom you share same values. That if you have someone you want to get into a relationship with, you hold on to sex before marriage is sinful and not acceptable. But for him, he holds that I'll still marry you. What is the problem with having sex even now? That is an outright red flag telling you this is not the right person. Because you're working with someone with whom you hold the same values. Because we are human, and that means that if at one point I'm overtaken, because that could happen.
Yes.
We could be seated doing something and my heart seems to just be driving itself without me driving it. Then these are the person who is sober and with whom you hold the same values is able to tell you, please, I love you. It's not a rejection, but we cannot get there. So that if you don't hold each other accountable, then it becomes very dangerous and very difficult for you to go on that journey.
Right.
The other key thing is to walk with counsel. Ensure that you're receiving counsel through your journey.
Right.
There is somebody who is giving you counseling, both at the level of your spiritual authority and at the level of your mentorship, your mentor couple, your best couple, or as you may call them. They are giving you counsel. And as they give you counsel, it is important for you to also get real and honest with them. If there are any struggles that you're going through, that look here, every time we meet with him, and we start having discussions, I'm no longer at room temperature, and things my mind just goes away. Or even when I go to sleep, sometimes I can't sleep. I'm just thinking about him, fantasizing, and all these. The people who are providing you counsel will be able to help you walk through that journey. Will be able to evaluate: is there something that you are doing that could be predisposing you to this particular struggle that you have that we need to deal with? So you must work with counsel, have people who are working with you day by day, and you are honest with them, you are open to them. And when they assess a situation and they tell you, I think you're spending too much time together, or I think there's something that you're not doing right, or they might confirm, what you're feeling is okay, it's right, you just need to be in control of things, because there's chemistry. When you meet the person you intend to marry, even if it's as cold as it is outside here, something just happens. And that is fine. And sometimes you just need somebody to tell you, you are not evil. That's okay, but you need to be in charge. You need to allow God to take charge. But having that counsel is very, very important.
Right. As we head towards winding this up, Christian, you're a mother, and you've worked with girls. I just want you to speak to a girl who really thinks, I'm not sure I will manage this dating thing straight. Speak to them, encourage them, tell them it's possible, and just share a word with them.
It is really possible. It's possible. First of all, when you have the foundation, the one we talked about. Secondly, it's also possible if you have the right vision. The right vision. I think that most of our young boys and girls, it's because nowadays they don't know where they are going. Many of them are just there. Even a young boy now, you ask her, what do you want to become tomorrow? Mommy, I don't know. I don't know. But us, I don't know. Maybe our grace we had that time was different. But today, our young boy, they don't know. I don't know. Maybe the issue of social media also has completely spoiled their head. I don't know. But they don't know where they are going. They don't know where they are. So for me, it's very important to them to have the right vision.
Right.
I want to succeed, to do something great in this life. In my marriage, I will succeed. I will not do something that will not glorify the name of my Lord.
Resolve.
The resolve. That is the word. The resolve. Yes. So it's very important. It's very important. For me, for example, you know, my mom didn't make it. So since I was young, I was always saying, I will get married. And I will be in my marriage till the end of my age.
Right.
You see, so that commitment, God has already seen it. And he really responded for that. So it's just a commitment. We need God to commit ourselves and say, God, help us in that journey.
Right.
And it shall be well.
Come on. Wow, that's really profound. Pastor Bernard, bring this home.
Yes.
The entire agenda of dating, courtship needs to have a good result So it needs to be done right.
Yeah. There's something I said at the beginning, that we should never trivialize.
Right.
We should never trivialize marriage. It's so important. What I've realized in my marriage is that my success in almost every other front is determined by how my marriage is. Right. Marriage becomes like a platform upon which you bounce and bounce onto ministry, bounce onto your career, bounce onto this. And whenever there is a challenge or I'm going through in my marriage, I'll see that it is affecting almost everything else that I'm doing. And I have to go back and resolve that challenge so that I'm able to come back and concentrate at work. I'm able to come back and concentrate at my workplace. And so I want to tell young people that courtship lays a foundation for that very important institution from which you shall bounce out into the world and become great and make impact. If you get it wrong at the courtship level, that is at the foundation level, the whole building cannot stand. This building is standing because of the foundations. Right. It is the foundation that determines how many floors that you can go. If you do the foundation wrong, then you get to maybe the 10th floor. And then you have resources, you have the ability and everything to do another 10 floors. And then the engineer comes and tells you, yes, you have the resources, you have the ability, but the foundation cannot hold that. Right. There are many people who, later in life, will be unable to progress, will be unable to become great men and women in life, simply because they trivialized courtship, they took it lightly, they did the wrong things in courtship, and therefore they entered into marriage in the wrong way, and it messes up the whole life. Let them take it very seriously, let them seek counsel, let them be accountable to people who they require to be accountable to, and let them seek God. Let God be at the center of everything that they do.
Come on. Wow. Yeah. Well said. How long do you need to date? No prescription. How far is too far? Once you get to the cliff, the only thing you can do is fall. So don't allow yourself to get to the cliff and fall, all right? But more important, the foundation has to be right. Let's not trivialize it. If you get it right, then the marriage will be a good marriage and a successful marriage. And a successful marriage opens up to bigger, greater things. When your marriage is successful, your career is successful. Your ministry is successful. Your mission is successful. So let's get it right. Thank you very much for joining us. We are at the 4 Points by Sheraton in Hurlingham. A great, great, great place and facility. Check it out. You love their food, their cuisine. Bring your family. If you're in a corporate institution, they have great conferencing facilities. You need to check out and see what they get to offer. So God bless you. Until next Sunday, have a great Sunday and a great week ahead. Baraka Tele.